Eccoci ancora qui, questa volta insieme a Roberto Cicutto, nuovo presidente della Biennale di Venezia, e a Hashim Sarkis, il curatore della Biennale di Architettura. Siamo molto lieti di averli con noi in questa lunga maratona e sono insieme a Pippo Ciorra, il nostro Chief Curator di Architettura, e naturalmente nel salutare e nel ringraziare sia Roberto Cicutto che Hashim Sarkis per essere qui con noi, vorrei subito chiedere a Roberto Cicutto qualche riflessione su questo fatto un po' traumatico che ovviamente ha investito tutte le istituzioni culturali italiane, ivi compreso il Maxi, che come vi stiamo raccontando ormai da molte ore si è trasformato in un broadcaster di contenuti digitali prodotti nei mesi del lockdown e che da qualche settimana ha riaperto i battenti. Ci interessa moltissimo la riflessione con voi su tanti temi, ma io comincerei proprio da questo e chiederei al Presidente Cicutto di raccontarci un po' come hanno vissuto questo slittamento traumatico della Biennale, e poi abbiamo voluto intitolare questo confronto When Will We Live Together, naturalmente parafrasando il titolo della Biennale di Architettura, che invece è How Will We Live Together, perché come diciamo il tema che ha attraversato molte conversazioni da questa mattina alle 11 con grandi architetti, con Renzo Piano, con David Adjaye e con Rem Koolhaas pochi minuti fa, è stato proprio quello di capire come l'architettura, di cui voglio ricordare il Museo Maxi è il Museo Nazionale dell'Architettura, e voglio anche ricordare che con la Triennale di Milano, altra istituzione, stiamo collaborando e abbiamo oggi conferito a Renzo Piano questo primo premio alla carriera di un premio nazionale all'architettura che Triennale e Maxi insieme hanno lanciato pochi mesi fa. Quindi io, ok, I switch to English in respect to our very distinguished guest, Hashim Sarkis, and so I ask to Roberto Cicutto if in English he wants to answer my question on this very traumatic situation.
Good evening, everybody. Good day, Hashim Sarkis. Yeah, it's not been very easy to take the decision to postpone Biennale Architettura, but after have been trying with Sarkis to keep the dates after they've been postponed to August 29th. It was supposed to start in May. We had the concrete, the actual feeling that it would be impossible to do the Biennale he conceived. So we decided, after talking with 202 representatives from the different countries that the architects who work with Sarkis, to go to the next year. Why the next year and not the 2022, keeping the year for our Biennale? Because we decided not to waste the work which had been done from Sarkis and the architect, and in agreement with all the countries. So what means that the curator, the directors like Sarkis and Cecilia Alemani, who will be doing art, are very much following in previously the time. So they had, the Sarkis gave us this question, how will we live together? He didn't know the time we were facing, but the question mark is so large, which involves even the pandemic situation, and I do think that this more time to reflect on that means a lot for all of us. Yes. So I do think that this situation has pushed us to do something new for the Biennale. a continuous dialogue between the curators from all the arts, architecture, art, cinema, theater, dance, and music. And actually, what we are doing, not to replace the Biennale Architettura, but to occupy the room and the dates of Biennale Architettura, we are doing an exhibition for the first time in 125 years since the Biennale has been founded, an exhibition which will be tell the people the more significant facts that happened in the long history of Biennale. So we will have in the Giardini, in the central pavilion, which used to be the Italian pavilion, the history of Biennale, telling the people the most significant passage in this very long history.
Oh, okay. Thank you very much. Very interesting. This is a new idea and a new perspective for the Biennale. And obviously, I want to turn immediately to Hashim Sarkis, and just to very briefly present him. Hashim is a Lebanese architect, but with strong roots in the Mediterranean landscape, but he's at home at Harvard, at MIT, and he has been working for many, many years on the issues of the relationship with nature, with spaces and places as areas of change, and he has been working a lot on injustice and the disequalitarian processes that we are witnessing on a global scale. So turning to Hashim, I really would like to ask him, how will we live together after the pandemic? I mean, obviously, I'm sure this is a question everybody is putting on forward to you. As you know, we have just, as you may know, we have just opened today a new exhibition at Maxi. People will obviously discuss with you about this, called Home 2020, and it really is related to how we are living our and inhabiting spaces and houses after this incredible experience that has connected the whole world in a new spatial dimension of our living structures. Bluntly put, has this pandemic, has this crisis changed the way you were thinking of the Biennale? Is this year more that you have in front of you going to be very useful or has the pandemic in fact found us fragile in a way that all the problems were already there before the crisis?
Happy anniversary, Maxi. Thank you very much for including me in this event. And thank you for the difficult question. We did not plan it this way. As Roberto said, it may be an accident of circumstance or an irony of time that the question was asked prior to the pandemic, but tends to absorb, whether directly or indirectly, whether in the short term or the long term, many of the questions that are being raised by the pandemic. But let us face it, the reason we asked this question openly across the globe, across 5 scales, the reasons we asked it are the same reasons that have led us to the crisis we are facing in the pandemic. Global warming, political polarization, extreme inequities, and our neglect of other beings on this planet. So it's the underlying causes of the pandemic that were the underlying causes of the questions that the world is asking architects to respond to, and the Biennale rose to that occasion. So I feel that there is, at one level, validity to the question that is strengthened by the current pandemic, but an ability to absorb, both in the immediate sense and in the longer term sense, the conditions that the pandemic has put in front of us in an extreme way. Are we changing? I don't think so. There might be some tweaking that will happen in some of the projects. There might be some practical changes that need to be done in order to respect social distancing. And there might be, in particularly a section that is called cohabitats, where universities from across the world are looking at the conditions of their cities. There might be an inclusion of the crisis and the impact that it has on social spaces. These aspects might be too soon to predict, and I'm leaving it in the hands of the participants and the National Pavilion curators, but I'm really eager to see how they will respond to that in the framework that the Biennale has offered them to do that.
Grazie. Ma Hashim, ciao, how are you?
How are you, my friend?
We were sitting on a Biennale jury together, so now Hashim is trying a new experience at the Biennale. We share this terrible visionary thing, because you call your exhibition How We Will Live Together, and I call our exhibition last year At Home. So we feel guilty somehow. But this pandemic condition, this staying at home, emphasized two completely opposite feelings. One was the lack of contact, the lack of the use of public space, and on the other side, the enormous emphasis on technology. You know, we are doing this and you are in the perfect position because you run the MIT, you are a real architect, and you're now working in an important art institution for this show. So what will you say about the future role of technology in the sphere of architecture and cities also?
We are condemned to technology, so we might as well absorb it, make use of it, and guide it, and make sure that its negative impact is controlled. I say that obviously with a sense of irony, because we may have given up a lot of decision-making to technology, thinking that it is technology that will guide us. But lo and behold, today, as we are confronting the pandemic, we are realizing that this delegation to technology of all of our problems and therefore all of our solutions has to be mediated by our own will, our democratic decision-making processes that ask the question to ourselves before we ask it to technology or we ask it through technology, how will we live together? That is the old political question that is still begging itself to be answered today. Unfortunately, the answers are not coming from politics as they used to come before. We have waited for too long for them to come from philosophy, from religion, from our marriage counselors, and it hasn't come in an effective way. Maybe it's good for us that the answer does not come from one source, but from a variety of sources. But this is where architecture and the arts need to rise to the occasion, and we've always done that. Heralded solutions, ideas, crafted spaces that imagine the possibility of us living together in different ways. And technology is an integral part of it. And this is why I come back to the question of technology not as being a separate one, meaning external to architecture or external to social life or external to politics. It's integrated in it. The danger will happen when we say technology solved the problem alone. Technology is an instrument, not a space of decision-making.
Okay, good. I'm sure Giovanna wants to intrude in this.
I would love to discuss this much longly, but let me turn to Roberto Cicutto again. Is he still on, right? Yes, because I would like to ask Roberto, I mean, technology is there. Hashim said we're not going to avoid technology. And I would also say globalization is there. I think we should discuss this longly, but I think that the issue and the notion that the crisis has interrupted the globalized world is probably a false one. So I have a question for Roberto Cicutto, because I think Biennale, as a great cultural institution in Italy, and in a way also Maxi has this role, obviously, we have a great role in looking at the globalized world and giving voice to innovative thinking. And for Biennale, this is something which is based on national pavilions. How do you deal, I mean, how do you see the future, the evolution of Biennale dealing with the evolution of the idea of national identities? Because we are, you know, very much in a global connection of institutions, research centers, artists, architects. How do you deal with that? Do you think the future of Biennale is still based on national pavilions? I mean, I'm putting this quite abruptly, but it is an issue.
Very abruptly, very abruptly. Anyway, Giovanna, you know Biennale much better than I do, because you have been Minister of Culture, and I just got into the Biennale in a very peculiar time.
Yes.
But your question is very important, because it's really what I would like, with the help of people like Hashim, to try to do at the Biennale. I don't want to change anything about the exhibition and the importance that they have, and the fact that people have to come to Venice and visit the exhibitions, like the most of the cinema, like art, like theater, dance, music, and of course architecture. But what I would like to try to do to build up is a kind of, Hashim, sit down, MIT of the contemporary art. I would like 365 days a year to have people thinking about what you suggested, exactly how to deal with different identity, different cultures, different countries, and try to make real what is an abused line, like art can change the world. Everybody uses that line the way they want to do. We want to try to make it real. Is that enough?
Well, then we have a common goal, President Cicutto.
I know.
Then I have to say publicly that we're on this together. And I am very happy to hear that from you. Maybe you want to address Sarkis again?
No, we are, I mean, running out of time, but I would ask Hashim how he sees the future of the architects. Now we know, we were discussing this morning. I mean, what is going to be the architect of tomorrow with so many centrifugal forces working around them?
I am very optimistic about the future of architecture practices, particularly after having taken the charge of surveying the field in order to select architects in the Biennale. Youthful, energetic, collaborative, responsibly optimistic towards the future, taking on difficult challenges, becoming free agents for what they believe is a good cause. What I also am seeing, and I'm trying to also emphasize in the Biennale itself, is the possibility of the architect reclaiming the role of the convener of the others, synthesizer of ideas,
exactly.
solving together problems, but also the architect as the custodian of the spatial contract. That is extremely important, and I see it very clearly in the eyes, energy, thoughts, work of the young generation that is going to be at the Biennale. Stay tuned.
Grazie.
Thank you so much, and let's keep the conversation going on, and see you soon.
Ciao.
Thank you, ciao. Now I need to launch two very important contributions, anzi torno all'italiano, facciamo così, ora lancio un confronto molto interessante con Forma Fantasma e la nostra Domitilla Dardi. Forma Fantasma, voglio anche ricordare, è insieme al Maxi nel programma del Maxi di questo periodo, perché con Forma Fantasma abbiamo costruito un progetto che sarà solo online che si chiama Casa Mondo, di cui parleremo nei prossimi giorni. Dopodiché ci sarà in questa maratona Patrick Schumacher. Patrick Schumacher, come sapete, è uno dei fondatori insieme a Zaha Hadid di Zaha Hadid Architects, dello studio Zaha Hadid, e quindi daremo poi spazio al contributo di Patrick Schumacher.